Okay, good. Just want to make sure you are making some profits. Because every time you report, it's always stop out. I was like, what's going on? One thing I learned from my past experience is that when we're working with, yeah, exactly. That was I was about to say. When you don't enter every call, one of the potential problem is that you might actually not have the same type of ratio, I guess, the percentages, and it's simply due to the fact that they have a much bigger sample pool. So when they say this month they had, let's say, a 90% return or 90% win rate, that's with every single trade that they did. If you only, let's say they did 20 trades, right? And 90% of the time they were able to do it. But you only did, let's say, 5 out of those 20. And it happened that two of the lost trades, stop loss trades that were in your five, and all of a sudden your ratio is no longer 90%, right? Your ratio is more like two out of five. So that's more like 60% win rate. So just be careful when you follow somebody. I highly encourage you follow every single call if you're looking for the same type of ratio, that is. See, but then if you look at their other calls probably was in profit, maybe. So sometimes you're wondering, is it just you, right? The answer is never just you. Um, it's just you want to make sure you have the proper calls. That's all. Okay, we didn't need that. And this is probably helpful. The audience has been light, huh? Most end feel like I don't know if it's lucky or not. it just it's a numbers game, right? It's a mathematical equation ratio, so you needed to play it to your advantage. I know. Yeah, I feel like the attendance has been pretty light. Anyways, it's already 6 minutes into 8 o'clock. Let's go and get started. Again, we'll go and start with a few questions. If you guys have any questions, this is a good time to ask. Anything about chart reading, understanding, anything that you may have questions to. If no, then you can give me a couple of coins with the context associated with the coin and take a look at some of the coins. Any questions for me? Don't seem like you guys have any questions. How about you, Colonel? Any questions about whatever you learned from Sherlock or things you're having confusions, challenges with? What kind of phrase? Sure. But yeah, and you want to give me more context though, like your entry, the time frame that you're looking at, swing, scalp. So give me more context so I can help. And is it a futures? If so, then what platform? Binance, Mexi. Forward swing. What exchange? XC. Okay. All right. So we got a 4 hour long. Entry is at 13.021. Okay. So you went long. What's your stop loss? Do you have one? Is it here? 12136. Well, that's aggressive. Okay. 12136. Something here. Okay, so right below the wicks before, or we're actually approaching it, right? And your question is whether or not this is going to stop out or rebound? Well, you're hoping. You literally have like how much percent of the room? I mean, 2% is not too bad, right? So at least you have a 2% of the room. I mean, the wicks are looking nice. When you have wicks like this, typically it could be a sign of reversal. The MACD momentum is slowing down for the bearish momentum. What I don't like though is we have a bearish order block here, right? So because we have a bear block on the way back, you're gonna have some issues. So the price can literally come up here and then reject again and reject further down. Then you're kind of screwed, right? We do have a pocket here. So we have pocket here, we have pocket here. So then we have these liquidity zones. So, you probably want to extend your stop loss a little bit further. I mean, you can, but then that's basically, extending your risk. So at the very least, I think we'll probably go back to near your entry. So what you can do is you can DCA here and then potentially lower your entry down. So as it goes to this order block, you can then just basically take profit and, get out, right? So you can always do that. But if you do nothing and you allow your entry to stay at the same level, then most likely you're gambling the fact that, this is going to break this order block. We also have a lot of long wicks up here, so there's more liquidity up here. There is kind of like a zone here. You also need to break. So yeah, I mean, I would DCA and try to get out. Yeah, I mean, if you're not worried, it's fine. The best course of action is right now you're on the low. It looks like we're on kind of on our way on for the reversal. We haven't really have a confirmation for that yet. So the best way to go about it is we do have a much shallower bearish momentum. So it's likely that it'll probably rebound, but anything can happen, right? But based on the data, it'll probably rebound. If it does, you want to make sure you have enough room for the rebound. So I probably, if I was you and I was doing this for my own trade, I probably would extend my stop loss below this wick. And then maybe I'll take a TP here. I'm sorry, I'll take a DCA here at the current market price. And maybe another DCA at the middle of this range. So if you do the equal amount, right? So I don't know how many links you got. It doesn't seem like a lot, but let's say you have one link here. If you DCA here for one link, if you DCA at the current market price for one link, your new average entry would have became right here, would have became around 12.729. And then if you DCA two links, right, so double the amount, then your average entry would have been about 12.379, right? So it's literally below the current market price. So then you have much better chance of stopping out break even or maybe taking a little profit as you rebound. The problem is if it goes all the way down here, then you will lose 3 times the amount. Okay, so the instrument's just a box. I just, took out the background and make the middle a little bit more apparent. So, you know, it's a little bit more easier to see. Yeah. This is just the midpoint. So it only works when you have equal amount of position, right? That's why I say 1, 1, and then 2, 2, right? Because at this point you have two links. So then when you DCA two links, you would have the new average between the new entry and the DCA. That's how I got this second line. Simple math of averages. All right, so that answers your question, right, Ian? Do you have one, Colonel? If no other questions, I can look at some coins, or I can just scalp whatever you guys want. Yeah, you want to scalp? Okay, sure. We can probably just scalp then. Yeah. So we'll spend the next few minutes scalping. Okay. So we rejected off. This is a deviation. So most likely this is a downtrend. We also created a downward order block. So I'm just going to jump in current market price, a small short, just because I feel like the momentum is probably going down. We also have a shrinking bearish momentum. Overextended, overextended. So all the data is showing that is probably the price is going down. This will be a short TP though. So I'm taking the TP down here at the low. And by the way, I've just been doing this a very long time. So I read very fast. I have my drawing already kind of on the table. So it's very quick for me to make a decision. You guys can literally just, use the market buy buttons in your exchange and you'll be able to kind of jump in as quickly. Just make sure you have your position set right? Don't follow my positions. My position is based on a 10,000 portfolio, 10,000 US dollars at about max leverage. Whether that's 100x for you or 200x doesn't matter, but usually it's max leverage. And then when I jump in, I also have plans for DCAs. I don't use stop losses. So if it retrace and retest the trend line again, I'll probably do a DCA then. I'm playing with very small positions here. Well, according to what I'm used to. I don't know what this wick is made out of. I don't see a lot of resistance, or I don't see a lot of support, or any type of liquidity here. I do know we have an order block, and we have additional liquidity pocket here, so I'm pretty sure it's going to come down. In which case, I'll just add one more when it goes up. If this candle closes below the trend line again, then it's going to prove that it's bearish. If it closes above, then it's questionable. So I'm trying to see if we can have this candle close below. We have 20 seconds. There are many times where, the candle actually make a decision at the very last few seconds. So I don't get too excited until the last few seconds. It looks like it might close below, but we'll see. I much prefer it attempts, but close below. Usually that's more bear for me. So this is kind of like closing right below. So in my opinion, we'll probably start dumping after it tries again. It's really trying to bull. The data shows it's going to bear though, so I'm not sure what this momentum is about. But in my past experience, it's probably better to trust my instincts on the data. Not so much emotion about the current situation. You gotta trust the data. we have an opening soon? No? Today's Friday, right? What's how's the rest of the market? Green and red. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like neutral. So this is exactly what I want to see, right? So the pressure being absorbed and still pushed down below trend line. That's exactly what I was hoping to see. Momentum again, shrinking. If you have DCA up here, you'll be gambling because there's no confirmation. Remember, you want to DCA carefully. And that message is for you, right, Colonel? So we only DCA when we have confirmation of a direction. And as we close below the trend line for the second time, that is going to be the confirmation. Unless we have another jumpy candle right after, right? Like how this white candle was blue. Literally right after close, it jumped above the trend line, right? But now it's showing a much directional type of price action. We're now even more overextended on the MACD. But if you look at RSI, the RSI is already coming down quite a bit, right? So I will be taking my TPs very conservatively just because RSI is coming down a lot, even though the price haven't really moved down that much. So usually that's a divergence for me. Meaning I'll just be more careful. There could be more liquidity pockets here. But closing below the trend line for the second time is pretty bearish in my opinion. We do have some sort of liquidity pocket here for some reason. Um, Other than these 2 wicks, I don't really see any reason why there's a pocket. There might be a demand zone. That could be it, but we'll see. So we got 4 seconds to close the candle. As long as it's below trend line, we're okay. This is the third attempt trying to break the trend line. Again, we're going up. We'll see if we'll close below the trend. And orange, if you're wondering, the orange was yesterday's daily close. So that was literally yesterday's level. This is a battle between liquidity pockets. We have a big one here, a big one down here. A much better entry would be between here, right on the trend line. However, if we do close above the trend line, that could potentially be a potential breakout point. So if it does break out, we'll see what it does here. Let me see if there's any other trend lines I can draw. Not really. I mean, there's potentially one. We also potentially have this, and this could be a retest of the previous break. If this is a retest of the previous break, this is a very weak break. So I'm not following my local trend lines. The kind of like magenta line is based on the Fibonacci trend. So I'm gonna be basing off that instead. If it does break out, there is a potential that it could go all the way up here. That's why you want to do small positions, right? This is where I would consider my DCAs. If it does go all the way up. Okay, this is what I've drawn previously. Forgot to turn it back on. Okay, looks like we have a break. If I waited, because I thought, cup of candle, it constitutes a bear call. It's fine. But if I waited for a more clear call, then we could probably have longed here. I do not like the fact that, we're so overextended on the MACD and RSI. So I don't know how far this is going to go, to be honest. So let me just take out this. So we did close above. We also have another order block here. So if I change this, and if I take out this average, we do have an order block here that needs to be addressed. Maybe it's already been addressed. We did peak it above. Let me see if anything else before. We have another order block here. It's more like a ranged zone too. Can probably draw the whole zone. So we have quite a few things stopping the price from just, overwhelmingly take over the long. So I'm sure we'll find an opportunity where the price will start reversing. Could have taken profit here though. How much would that be? 70 bucks? Technically, we're just ranging. Structurally, I think the change of character is here. Is at this order block. So structurally, we would have to break here for the change of character into bullish. Otherwise, we're still relatively bearish. So I'm not sure if we're even going to touch this fib level. We actually may not touch that. We're already showing, additional pressure already. Okay, so let's see what it wants to do. So reversing. I'm still waiting for the MACD histogram to print a more faded color. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. If it goes to 0, then, and if this start to cross, I actually might DCA up here. It doesn't look like this is it. So then the next level we'll be watching is probably up here, either by the zone or by the order block or even by the change of character. So that's probably where we're going to DCA. The drawdown, you don't really have to worry about it. That's just part of the game. If we DCA'd it up here by the order block, our average entry would have been moved to about here by the teal line. So that's kind of right above the break. So if it does come down for a retest, we can easily get out. Yeah, so this is a breakout now. Let me just create a limit order right at the order block. I have a feeling it's going to hit this and rebound because we have so many reasons for this to be a resistance level with the zone, with the order block, and the change of character. So I'm not sure it's going to cut through like butter. It's probably not going to. I can be more conservative and do it here. That's like considering the wicks. When we hit the zone, we'll probably get some sort of reaction. Very rarely you have a fake out and then immediate actual breakout. This is a very interesting type of price action. I'm not very used to this. That's why I thought initially it was going to go down. Momentum is still bullish. How are we doing on volume? I mean, volume is steady. Long wicks. If it turns around here, I will be a little bit disappointed. It shouldn't turn. Momentum is not extremely high though, so I don't anticipate God candles. If it turns here, it would really suck. That would be a really weak break. According to previous data, if you did long this instead of short, you're the smart one. You can probably take TP at about 57, 400, 470. Oh my god, it's turning around. Okay, well, here we go. Okay. Well, it should have TP'd, but it didn't. So, wow. I'm clicking, but that was a long time ago. Okay, well, it clicked. It registered when I have no clue. It registered, I guess, down here when I clicked it. So if you're wondering what the hell just happened, that's a surge of volume that came in out of nowhere. And I'm not sure why I have a 2 position long. I didn't execute that, to be honest. So I'm not sure what happened there. But it's okay. We're gonna play this out anyway. $100. There you go. You're very welcome. From the 600 loss, now you just 500 loss. Okay, so we're looking for potential TP here. Based on the price action, even though we have incredible bearish momentum, to me, it's more like a retest of the trend line. I mean, it can potentially go up again. I'm just looking for a place to go long again. The amount of pushback this candle is showing makes me believe that this is still a long opportunity. So if you're waiting to jump in, I mean, as long as we don't close the candle below this trend line, which is $57.60, then you should be okay. I didn't really DCA just because I don't know what the hell this candle wants to do. And I'm okay. I'm perfectly comfortable with the candle kind of in between. So, no. And you're open about an hour. Yeah. It's okay though. Still got about 40 seconds for this candle to basically decide what it wants to do. By the way, nobody can foresee something like this, right? We're not oracles. But I'm getting out just because I don't like staying in is almost like gambling. I'm not even sure why I have, that position open. Doesn't make any sense. But it's trading view. Sometimes it does that. So now we're reset, right? Sometimes when things go like this, even though it's working well for us, it's okay to reset. By reset, you're really looking at, okay, so we did close below the trend line. We did form a new bearish order block. It's now looking still slightly bearish. That's why the reason why I got out of my long, because I didn't want to be in long. But this candle will tell us what direction it wants to go, right? So right now it looks like it wants to go down. So then I'm going to start a new short. Here. We also have a bearish, order block here. So that's another reason why I decided to short. So here's the order block. And we did close below the trend line once again, right? So to me, this could be a deviation. So it's deviation 1, deviation 2. That means we're probably going to come down. In which case, I will take TP near the This is kind of like an intersection with fibs, retest, um, and a nice support level here. It's just that it's pretty annoying how it's really jumpy right now. I don't like it when price action is jumpy. So, Colonel, be careful with the position size that you're doing. Anything can happen when the price is jumpy like this. Are you in short or long that you're out? Good. I'm glad you're making your own decisions. Very cool. I don't like it either. Yeah, go ahead. I'll be here. So this could potentially be a liquidity grab. Um, yeah, just make sure your position size is something you're comfortable with, right? Yeah. And you really want a DCA when I DCA. Okay, so we did close below trend again, and now we're trying to kind of re-challenge the trend line again. If we did come down again, I'm still bearish. I'm telling you guys, I'm still bearish. We'll see how this plays out. Okay, well, is turning towards our favor, which is nice. We do have a pocket here, so I'm not too excited yet because we do have to come all the way down. There's a lot of liquidity here we got to absorb. We kind of did absorb some with this, crazy candle price action. But I don't know how much left. It seems like there's a lot here. So we're going to have to see. If we can create another bearish order block here, then I am more bearish. Even more bearish is what I mean. So we want this to really close with the engulfing candle right here. My TP is still relatively conservative. If we engulf this wick, we're in good shape. Yeah, and you know how to read the right side for basically the levels of which I take TP and entry, right? Because I don't normally call out the actual price dollar amounts. I just leave them on the screen so you guys can kind of see it yourself. Well, the red is usually entry, right? Or blue. And then you have the green, usually is TP. I rarely do stop loss, but if I do have a stop loss, it would be more like a yellowish color. Okay, then you're good. Yeah, if you're counting on me to be right all the time, then you're in the wrong podcast or you're in the wrong stream. I'm not right all the time. But I am profitable almost every day. So it's not about being right, it's about knowing how to manage. That's my opinion. Okay, so we kind of have a bearish order block. So that is bearish to me. We do have a lot of liquidity still. How are we doing? I mean, we're starting to kind of having a cross momentum ish. RSI is coming down too, so that's good. I really don't see why we couldn't hit this TP. I mean, we might have a reaction here with the first fib. If we do, I am going to be out. Okay, but that fib is not a significant level. So then my TP should hit in that case. Yeah. When we do TP is usually entire position. But my hands is on the manual cancel right now. Because if we see a strong sign of reversal, I'm out. Yeah, so I'm just going to get out there. And then we'll reset, right? So we make a couple $100, we reset, make a couple $100, we reset. If we push back, I might re-enter with a small position. I mean, eventually it might hit this TP. But there's no reason for me to just keep sitting here and trying to see if that happens. My next level of interest is whether or not we can actually break below this. Preferably break below and have some sort of a retest. That would be the best. But usually it's not going to go like this, right? So usually it probably go deeper, come down, and then do that. So I'm really looking at how it's going to behave literally right at this intersection. So let's see how it does. Okay, TP hit. So I could have stayed for a little bit more, I think. How much did I get? 155. Okay, so I lost about $80 there. Well, $80 less. Carno, it TP'd. So it did work out. Better safe than sorry. Yeah. You'll find out very soon. I'm actually a lot more conservative than you guys think. I'm a very conservative trader. But I'm averaging, 1,000 a day. So I think yesterday I broke 3K. So I did make about 3,000 yesterday. Reversal point as expected. And that's why I kind of got out. So then what we'll do is we'll probably retest this trend line again. If we break above, I might long. But if we rebound from here, I'm going to shore up at the trend line again. Recently, because the attendance has been poor, right? So I spend my time doing something else instead. Usually I scalp daily. That's when, we have a consistent amount of people interested in attending. I'm trading every day. As you can see on my right, except for the weekends, right? But I'm trading every day, making profits every day. I did this live stream scalp sessions to help people learn and grow, but if people are not interested to do that, then I just skip. Because technically I was doing it for free. Yeah, I know. Another thing is I don't really have a set time for those. It's not ideal, but my classes come in and out. I do teach, so sometimes I'm in class. So I wouldn't be able to do the same time every day. I mean, for Friday, I have a set time for this. If there's no question, usually I just jump into scalping like today. So on Friday, at least, you can make time for it. And Friday, regardless if there's one cat or a bunch of you guys, I'm still doing it. So Friday is, me kind of doing it as a duty for being a Foxian analyst. But usually on the daily basis, that was just me trying to help out. The wick's still showing bearish. We'll have to see. The momentum is weak though. And RSI is dancing in the middle. So we don't have a clear indication to really find a direction. So we're waiting to either retest the trend line, break the order block, or kind of retest the bottom line. We're waiting for some sort of reaction here. We'll probably have time for one, maybe two more trades. And Colonel, I'm on the 3-minute chart. So if you're on an exchange, make sure you're on the 3-minute charts. I find that sometimes 5-minute candle is a bit long for me. So I started to do 3 minutes instead. But I think 3 minutes is not available for free trading views. So that might be an issue. Or I mean, it sometimes move too much or too fast. I mean, it's okay, but 3-minute gives me a little bit more confidence in the technical analysis. There's just a little bit more data, you know? Yeah, so this reaction is kind of, anticipated, right? Tap into the order block, start to come down. It's not enough to justify a trade, right? But the order block, if it does rebound to the bottom here, you would have to have like a 5 BTC trade here in order to get something out of this. So you need really large positions. Typically, we're trying to get anywhere from 3.3 to 0.5% movement. I'm not greedy either. Each of my trade usually yield about $100, maybe two, sometimes three. When it goes one directional, it can, yield 1,000 for the whole day. I mean, not for the whole day, for that's one trade. But typically, I'm looking for, $200-300 per trade. Yeah, if you're not doing any analysis and Yang, you're just following my kind of my scalps, then Maxi is fine. The chart on it is fine. You just want to make sure you can identify where you are. Because when you do trades on Maxi, you also see the levels on the right? And you can move them and drag them too. So that just being on the same page with me. But if you're doing it without me being present, then you're doing it on your own. Then you want to use TradingView to have your analysis done. Because you wouldn't be clicking things without any type of analysis, right? Exactly. You wouldn't just say, "Hey, it's up, it's down." Like it might sound like I'm doing that, but I'm not doing that just out of the blue, you know? I have reasoning behind every single trade. Something that I can easily explain. So we're looking for a retest here. Right now we're in the critical candle one. This literally just started. So we'll see how this responds and we'll check out candle two. MACD and RSI is showing that this is not a completed cycle. I mean, you see how it perfectly touches the line and came down. I don't think this is enough to for me to get in, I guess, because it's not a confirmation. It's more like, okay, I know there's a reaction, but I don't know if the price is going to keep going up or down. We already had two peaks, right? We poked through twice. So if it poked through again for the third time, I wouldn't be surprised. Both time I was shorting, right? So this time let's wait a little bit. And third time's a charm. So if it does blow up to this, it'd be nice. So if we go from here to here, that's about a 0.4. So I'm looking for either bearish momentum depletion, meaning that if we get to the trend line and we're basically at zero, then the likelihood of it go up is higher. I'm also hoping by the time we get here, RSI is still in the mid range, maybe a little lower. But most important of all, I needed to see a candle closing above the trend line in order for me to long it. So right now I'm kind of looking for a long. It's literally just a quick trade function on your exchange, right? Are you talking about in TradingView or are you talking about on MXC? Cardinal? Both? So on TradingView, if you right click, go to settings, inside trading, there is a buy sell button. Make sure this is checked on. This is literally this, right? And this is what I click on all the time. Right, the top left, you see a red and a blue button. That's basically buy and sell. When you're in your exchange, you can also have settings and call out the buy sell button. Just make sure you change, the quantity, so you're not, buying and selling quantities positions outside of expectation. The last time the trend had a huge deviation, it came all the way up here. We broke above it, retested it, really took off, then came down, and then we set this level. We have this fib as well. Interesting. From the data, it's hard to tell. It's not a very clear data in terms of what it wants to do. Based on the current price action, we're still challenging the trend line. We do have another order block here. So even if we do challenge it, it's a 0.23, maybe even less. So even if it does break out, I'm probably not going to trade the breakout. I'm going to trade a reverse. So even if it goes up here, I'm probably going to trade it when it comes back down for the retest. If it retests successfully, I'm actually going to trade it here. Because I don't know if it's just going to go up and come down right away. If it goes up and hit this block and come down right away, then, that wouldn't really be anything, to be honest. So we'll see. I might short if we have a block reversal. Looks like it's about to break. Tomorrow is Saturday, right? If you're looking for 8 p.m., yeah, I am free at 8 if you want to go and book it. So my 8 p.m. is just the usual Friday fixed time. Is GMT 12 p.m. or UTC 12 p.m. Okay, so let's see if it breaks this order block with ease or if it's just going to come right back down. It's not going to come down here. It'll probably go up some more. Taking a look at the MACD, the bear is currently demolished. Volume is low though. Usually volume is low. Typically means that we have a fake out. Let's see. And Colonel, make sure, you work around your schedule. I mean, I'm not gonna make you take a class every single week, right, Colonel? Because I do know sometimes your schedule doesn't allow you to have as much flexibility in your free time. But just whenever you have a minute or an hour, make sure you go to the link and set up that schedule for yourself. Yeah. So just take a class whenever, whenever you're available. Sounds good. But I'm good for it. So, I'm always here. And you already paid for the class, so I'm not going to take that away from you. So you're always welcome. My time is yours. So I'll accommodate your schedule as much as I can. Interesting. So this reversal was a lot weaker. This is really weak. You can tell the pressure is not extremely high. Again, you can tell by the volume. If you look at the volume, it's literally a decreasing volume. Normally, when you have a breakout, you have an increasing volume, right? Like here. So that means we'll probably hit a wall and return. So my guess is we'll do this. Yeah, the only thing I would ask you, Colonel, is whenever you book a time, make sure do your very best to confirm that's the time you can make. That's the only thing I ask. So I try to keep the rescheduling to a minimum because I do have a lot of students I juggle with. So if everyone always reschedules, then, it'll be very chaotic. But I do know sometimes things happen. So I'm not trying to make it absolute. I'm just saying, all the students respect each other. That's all. So, whenever you're confirmed that you have the time, that you can set it aside, without if without any incident, then you should be okay. Yeah, the first thing you want to do is you try to save up maybe $3,000 extra into that seven. It's always enough. It's just that even if that 5,000 is enough, so it's not the amount of money that's the issue. Number one is we also want to try to save more, right? So whatever you're earning or whatever money you can scrap, we want to put that into kind of like that fundamental portfolio account. The more you can think of it this way, the more money you have in your account, the more leverage you have, and also it allows you to be, more wrong. I probably wouldn't really touch your spots right now because BTC might take off and things might take off. That 28 can turn into maybe 100K in the next few months, maybe a year. So that's the investment portfolio. I would recommend you be very careful. I've been calling this for a long time that sometimes in mid July, later part of July, we might see a black swan event. And this might be the last flash dump we might experience. So a lot of you guys, if you spend all of your money in spots already and you don't have any USDT on the side ready to buy in, I'd be careful. I don't know if the Black Swan event is confirmed or will absolutely happen. Um, there is really no name for the event. My alternative resources with a whole bunch of other confluences is telling me that potentially there's going to be some sort of flash dump coming. If you're already in the spot and you're currently under, meaning that you're currently in negative unrealized P&L, just keep it, because later on when it blows up, you're going to profit anyway. So don't sell at a loss, just hoping that you can get back in at a cheaper price. That's too much risk. But if you do have some USDT, some dry powder right now, I highly recommend just keep them ready on the side because if it does tank again, the flash dump, it'll be nice to get back in. So that's question really based on, I'm talking to you, right, Shinya? That question really based on the timing. To 20x someone's portfolio right after usually having, will have a price burst, usually around half year to about a full year. If you look at the previous halving in terms of the schedules. this year's halving, we actually had that surge slightly before that halving happened, due to the ETF news, right? So we might already have a spike, but that doesn't mean our run is over. In fact, I think our run will be quite substantial compared to the previous runs. So right now you're at a good position where within a year you might see that 20x for investment portfolio. But having happens, not every year, right? So investment doesn't work in a way that when you're not in a position for whatever you're investing in to have some sort of extreme climb, then trading would definitely be a lot better for you in terms of trying to grow your portfolio. For example, last month, in the month of June, I was able to profit about 40K based on a $10,000 account. So I 4x my account in a month's worth of trading. So if I can, sustain that for 12 months, that will be 48x in 1 year without any news, without any type of, having events. That's just consistently something you can do. Don't DCA quite yet, Colonel. You want to DCA a little bit later, right? Like I said, in probably somewhere in the mid to later July. Yeah, don't look at it right now, Colonel. It's gonna make you depressed. I think most people's spot bag is bleeding right now, including mine. But like I said, you profit both ways, right? So I always have USDT ready to DCA where it counts. It's the same exact thing I teach you in futures in trading. So we DCA where it counts. You don't want to just DCA at every dump because you don't know if that dump is, the last one, right? So you always want to keep some. All right, so the price is finally our order block. If we rebound from here, we'll probably look for the retest. If it breaks above, we still have a pocket here we need to go through. The next one is that demand zone and the change of character. So either way, it's probably going to rebound for the retest. Our goal is to trade either up here as it falls down or down here as it rebounds. If it breaks for a failed retest, then we'll continue to short even further down. So we're really working with here about 0.45%. And if it does all the way down, probably about a 0.82%. And that would really be the last trade because it's already 9 p.m. It's been an hour. What's up, CR? Good to see you. Okay, so it looks like it wants to retest from here. So we kind of knew this order block is going to have a reaction, right? Yeah, it's been a while, man. How you been? Oh, man, Colonel. Yeah, man, I have a lot of respect for you. I hope one day, in a not very distant future, I can hear you giving the good news that the war is finally over. I look forward to that news, man. All right, so if some of you are wondering if we knew this order block is going to cause the price to come down, how come we didn't trade this block? So if you're wondering that, the reason is because it's so small of a move, it doesn't really justify to get in. Because you're probably paying majority of that in fees, in case you're wondering. So the orange line is yesterday's daily close.